Hi, I'm David Norris and I'm serving up the perfect podcast, Pompey Platter with Russ, Daz and Haz. Play up, Pompey.
He used to be a waiter, did David Norris. Well, he's served up the perfect cocktail here.
It back to goal, Lang. Needs a bit of help. Goodness from Lang. What can he do? Still there, Lang. Lang! You wouldn't believe it! Cross comes into the near post. Headers into the net! Shaughnessy! Surely Pompey are heading for the championship! Portsmouth are promoted as League One champions.
Good evening and welcome to episode 18 of the Pompey Patter podcast. After another very Pompey week, we've got an app name which is Pompey's Strange Case of Jekyll and Hyde. I'm joined by Russ and Haz. How you doing, guys? You okay?
Evening, all good, mate. You?
Yeah, good. As I said, buzzing, more happy about yesterday. That cheered me up quite a bit. What about you, Russ? You good?
Yeah, I will warn everyone who's listening. I have got a bit of a cough, so if I suddenly go quiet, it's because I'm coughing my guts up.
Yeah, something going around. There's always something going around, isn't there? So, but yeah, cool. So, should we crack on? With what we're going to do, we're going to start with the Bristol City review, then move on to the Swansea City review, leading on then to the Sunderland Preview for our game on Sunday. Bit of Haz Vs Daz and Harry's Who Am I? And then any other business if anyone's got anything else to say. So we'll start this episode on probably the most negative side of it all. But so we played Bristol City on Saturday. I literally lose all the days around Christmas. Bristol City away. How about Haz? Do you want to take us away? What's your thoughts on the first half?
You bastard, going to me first.
Sorry, mate.
I actually made no notes during this game because I was just sitting there laughing because it was just comical. Once again, away from home, on a bigger pitch than usual, we just we didn't turn up. We were still on the coach. We just turned around, bent over and went, "Here you go, Bristol, do what you want." And that's exactly what they did. Marlon Pack thought he was still playing for Bristol City. Kind of assisted them in both their first two goals. We were just so far off it, and we come on to the game yesterday later, but when you compare and contrast home and away, it is so different, and it's almost incomprehensible how different we can be. We look like when we play at home, we look in the last probably 5 games as we're unbeaten in them. You'd probably say we look like a mid-table championship team. When we play away from home, we look like, I don't even know, probably lower League One team trying to play in the championship. Like, we can't, and it's baffling, and it makes me speechless. Hence why I didn't really make any notes. I understood the changes that Messino made, and I think he did the right thing. I understand people's frustration. We obviously always want to be playing the strongest 11 every week, but with our strongest 11, we know who that is, and we will burn out, and then we'll have no one. So the rotation made sense at the time, and all right, it didn't work out that game. But looking to the home game, it was probably more winnable as well, going back to our home and away form. But if we do want to stay up, we've got to be getting some kind of results, whether it's draws, just grinding out a 1-0 or 0-0 draw away from home. We've got to make an improvement because we can't rely on our home form to keep us up. We've got to be getting something away from home more often than we are.
I think the frustrating thing about it though was they didn't play well, Bristol City, did they? They didn't look good. Didn't smash us off the park and oh my god, what a team! We made them look better than they were, in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing. The thing what I thought as well. Obviously, the whole was he right to rotate, and I know a lot of people especially after the game, pinned how badly we played on the fact that we did rotate and change the side quite considerably. But when you look at our other games when we've been away from home, when we've been poor, that's been our best side really, or our strongest 11 at the time. So whether we rotate or not, I just don't think there's any difference in us playing away from home. Um,
I
Russ, do you
do.
think
I
do
do.
you think do you think like if they had rotated or not, we would have conceded some of the goals because the goals were sloppy, especially the
My,
first two.
I've said this between us a couple of days ago. I generally think we struggle on bigger pitches.
Mm.
Like that, like you think. So you had that game. You had the Stoke game, Derby game. They're on massive pitches, and then we just look like it feels like they have more players on the pitch, and we don't know how to deal with it. Whereas you look at the sort of better away performances, like Vicarage Road isn't the biggest of pitches. Like we were robbed there, massively robbed, and it's even more frustrating they've gone on to lose two of our relegation rivals since.
Yeah.
Um, and then you look at QPR's ground, Loftus Road, small tight pitch, and you get a win. I just think we need to adapt to these teams who, as I said, I just didn't. I never sat there and thought, "Oh my god, what a brilliant Bristol City team." You know what I mean?
No, I agree. No, I agree.
We literally gave them all 3 goals. The issue was we had nothing in attack with the players we started, which goes to show that we need to be backed in January, which I'm sure we'll come up later on more about that. But as soon as I saw the lineup, I had a feeling we'd probably lose anyway. But I'm a big believer in, we've discussed it before. I no matter what, give it your all. And it just frustrates me. You know what? It didn't piss me off as much as like Derby, because I think what hurt about Derby was they're on a terrible run, and it's a team we should be looking to do something against. Bristol City, we've said they're a real bit like us, Jekyll and Hyde. You just don't know what you're going to get. So as soon as I saw the lineup, I had a feeling we'd lose. I had no hope. Hope had all gone. And going back to a point I made against Derby with McIntyre, I wouldn't be surprised if subconsciously, again, you're sort of looking around, you're thinking, well, Severa ain't going to do much. Do you know what I mean? Is Moxon going to do much? And that's nothing to Moxon. I thought he had an all right game, but Moxon and Giselle partnership just looked off. You needed like a Potts beside him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go for it.
It just as soon as I saw the lineup, I thought, we ain't winning this, and turned out we were right.
So negative.
Yeah, obviously. Well, to be fair, when I saw the lineup, I think I tweeted before the game. I was like, sort of, come on, let's just give them a chance. Let's just see what happens. And then, obviously, before even the half-time whistle went, I was very like, oh no, I think I've made a mistake there. But we want to come on to the Silvera situation in a little bit just before we go on to Swansea. But it feels that when we play away at these big pitches, that we don't really look to adapt. I mean, for me, if we're playing against a really expansive team on a big pitch, I don't understand why we just don't sort of tuck in and send teams around the outside of us. We did that really well against Watford, I felt, especially in the first half, where our back four and our midfield were nice and tight. The gaps between the lines weren't great, and we sent them out wide. And then when they went out wide, Ogilvie and Swanson really dealt with the Watford wingers. As what do you like? Do you think it's the way we're set up, or do you think it's a mentality issue away from home?
I think it probably started off as the way we set up, but it's now gone into the mentality issue, similar to where we had that stage of conceding between 40 and 50, 55 minutes in the match, either side of half time. That was that kind of when it becomes a regular thing, probably within 5 or 6 games. That's when it becomes a mentality issue rather than just the way we necessarily set up. But I think you're right, Dad, saying that we need to go wider, also play narrow, and let them have the ball in the wide areas, because aerially we're actually pretty good. Ogilvy's very good in the air. Towler's good in the air. Pack was magnificent in the air yesterday. He's even playing as a centre-half, even as a midfielder, he wins a lot of aerial duels. And if you've got Swanson did well yesterday, but Terry Devlin can jump about 9 foot in the air as well. So we're pretty decent in the air. So play to that strength and say, go on, have it out wide and make them play crosses, because we're more comfortable with a cross coming in than them driving at us. Because when they drive at us, we kind of attack on the floor. We dribble at us. We back off, and that's where we kind of lose our man and we back off. Whereas if you got it in the out wide, you know where the ball is, and I think we're much better with that. So I think that's definitely something we should probably look at.
Yeah, I think we've been. I think it's a combination of how we set up and the mentality. I think we're incredibly like sort of naive away from home. Though we don't sort of see a danger and then like kind of shut up shop in a way. And it's the way we concede 1 and 2 very quickly. You'd like to think like, because we had both Pat and Richie on the pitch, so you would like to think that when you've conceded the first, like, right, come on, we've been down this road before. Let's get nice and tucked in and be really hard to beat. Because if you can go into half time, even if we went into half time 2-0 down, you come out, get an early goal. Like, obviously, I know we never really looked like scoring in the first half, but I think in the second half, what doesn't help us is that we're already 3-0 down, and Bristol City can literally just sit back and pick us off at will if they wanted to. And with their attacking players like Mehmeti and Twine and stuff like that, like they're just willing to have another opportunity, aren't they? So,
could I get? Do I?
I suppose.
Do I get?
Yeah,
do I get a point? Because I guess Mehmeti, it was just the wrong Portsmouth Bristol City game.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point.
You can have a point if I have a point for Lang's forward.
Shall we call it quits? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you both can have a point if I can get 2 points, and that's fair. We'll do that. But I suppose one of the main talking points was the Silvera sort of issue. What happened with obviously what was sung in the away crowd and stuff like that. Disgusting. I just want to get both your thoughts on that.
I got strong thoughts on it.
Sure. Yeah. Go on, Russ. Go straight
Never in my life. Probably other than like someone like Tal Ben Aim who deserved it because he's just a pure scumbag.
Beef.
If they're wearing a blue or whatever color, a Pompey crest shirt, then even if I think you're shit and you don't belong, I would never sing or boo our own. I just don't agree with it. I don't get what goes through people's heads. I just find it mental. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Do I want him gone? Yeah, but I wouldn't sing about it or boo him, or I just think that's just too far. So I mean, everyone's allowed an opinion, but I do think that's going over, too far over the line. I thought it was really poor, especially with a game where everyone was poor. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he was the only one. They all were shit that day. So it's not like, everyone had a good game and he was the only dreadful one, which I still wouldn't agree with it, but maybe I could think, maybe I can understand. But when everyone's had a shit game, I don't agree. I just don't agree with it, boys. I don't know how you
it reminded me of the Dane Scarlett sort of thing. He got similar sort of treatment. And the thing is, like, I understand, as you said, Tal Ben-Aim was an absolute prick. So I understand him getting kind of abused, but I don't like it when, like, you can see a player. No player wants to go out and play badly, like, especially like a player on loan, because
ruining his career.
They're playing to get back in to get back in the Middlesbrough team. That's usually what a loan is for. So you can come out, get some minutes, and hopefully then go back to your.
Oh, the idea of his loan, from his perspective, was to actually get back in the Australian squad.
Yeah, that as well, and that's it. Like for from Middlesbrough, who are competing top end, like you'd want to get back there because you want a chance to maybe potentially play in the Premier League. I don't think he's obviously at that level, especially not at the moment anyway. But like I just, you can tell if a player just can't be asked or has really bad attitudes. I think Yengi's been getting a lot of bit sick, before he got injured. But again, like when I saw Yengi play, you can see it in his face. He's not. It's just not working for him, and that's the thing. Same with Silvera, it's not worked for him. I think Middlesbrough will bring him back because I think this is not going to work for anyone. Like it's not going to work for Silvera. Middlesbrough are going to get nothing out of it, and we're getting nothing out of it. So I think for all parties, I think it's the best thing for him to go. Because I'd be very surprised if Middlesbrough didn't want to move him on because it's their player and they should really be thinking about him and what's best for him. Because that would be what's best for them. Because if they don't see him in the Middlesbrough team, they're still going to want to maybe move him on and for some money. So they're going to want best out of him. Harry, what's your thoughts before we move on to Swansea?
Yeah, I don't think you should boo them, but I kind of got it at the same time. I think he was made a scapegoat. However, other players that played that also were crap have a bit more in the bank. So people like Marlon Pack, where he obviously was at fault for two of the goals, or played his part in the first two goals being scored. He's playing out of position, and they probably took advantage of that for that game. And he's got a bit more in the bank because of the performances he's been putting in out of position. So I think where Silvera has failed to impress in pretty much every game he's played, bar probably the first two appearances he made, which actually I thought he looked okay and looked like he was starting to get a bit better, and then he's just dropped off completely. Since then, every time he's played football for us, we might as well not have 11 on the pitch because he's looked anonymous. So I'm not saying it's okay to do it because again, I don't think it is, but I think just where he hasn't got that kind of leeway because of previous performances, because he struggled so far pretty much every game, he is an easier target for people to go at. But the whole team was shit. To be, that's just how it is. The whole team was shit that day. There wasn't complete opposite of Swansea, where the whole team was brilliant and there wasn't one man you could pick out that was rubbish. This game, I don't think you could even pick even Schmidt because, all right, he wasn't at fault for the 3 goals, but he was all over the place with coming out for corners. The amount of corners and free kicks he came out for and missed. Bristol, if they actually were awake, could have scored another 4 or 5 goals because Schmidt was all over the place as well, which is unusual. And that was the first game I think he's had for us where I thought, fuck me, what's he up to? But again, it's just, yeah, okay. I don't, as Russ said, you don't want him to be here, but just back him while he's here until he leaves. You go, good luck, cheers, sorry it didn't work out, move on, and we'll get someone else. Because you wouldn't have known when we signed him. All right, it's a bit odd that a top end championship, they've loaned him to another championship team, but it could have worked, and he could have scored 15 goals for us so far this season. You don't know until he comes and puts on that shirt. So until that time comes to an end, which it looks like it probably will, because I see Michael Carrick's kind of said that they're keeping an eye on his situation, and they'll be aware of what happened the other day. I would imagine he'll go back this window. If he doesn't, I'll be very, very surprised. But yeah, just try. If just because you don't like him, don't boo him. He's going to be feeling like absolute dog shit as it is because he knows what his level of performance could be, and his level of football is going to be better than what he's performing because he wouldn't have got that move to Middlesbrough last year or the season before. So he's just lacking in confidence, and us as fans jeering him and booing off. I'm not surprised he went down a tunnel. I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not a good look, is it? It's as I said, it's easier. I was watching the game from home and stuff like that, so it's easier for me because I can just sit here and just turn the TV off and stuff like that. So when you've travelled, Bristol's not far, but again, it's still your own money, still around a really sort of expensive time of the year anyway. I think it's because we're out of it in the first half, and then we just didn't look like we're going to do anything. So I can understand frustrations, and everyone pays their money; they're entitled to do what they want.
I think,
But obviously, we're also entitled to an opinion and say if we agree with it or not.
I think also probably because he was he the first sub we made? Yeah, he was part of the triple substitution. So Matt Ritchie's not going to get booed because he's one of ours. Moxon has done pretty well coming off the bench recently, so he probably didn't really get it. But Silvera's probably the target out of the three. I mean, if they booed all three, you could say, yeah, fair enough. But singling them out, it's not a great look. And other potential signings might look at that because all the footballers are mates with each other, right? Aren't they? They all know each other through various people, and they'd have known each other from other clubs, and they'll talk to people. And other teams, players that will be interested in might see that and go, well, I don't really fancy that if I'm going to get fucking booed by my own fans if we have a bit of a dodgy game. But
yeah. No, and that's the thing, isn't it? I was thinking about this earlier, actually, because obviously the Bristol City game was bad, but if you actually think about it, it was after two good performances. Obviously, the very good performance against Coventry and the performance against Watford, where we deserved at least a point out of it. So it's kind of a interesting sort of reaction from the fans, and I suppose maybe it's because of all the rotation, and I think maybe a lot of fans saw it coming, so maybe their frustrations were more like, I knew this was coming kind of feeling. And I think, it's not a great look, but the players and the whole club reacted well yesterday on New Year's Day. No New Year's Eve hangovers for Pompey. So was it Russ? Russ, do you want to discuss the first half? What your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a real interesting sort of opening 20-25 minutes where it was kind of feel each other out sort of thing. Not really a lot going on either end, and then all of a sudden, fantastic play by Swanson, brilliant ball in. Bishop deserves credit for the goal as well for dragging the centre back away and left Josh Murphy to it's a great finish. It's the pace it was coming in. That's one you normally go miles over the bar.
Yeah, it's unbelievable finish. It looked when he put it in, I turned to my mate next to me, Drew, and I was like, "That's an unbelievable finish for that ball."
I think
it was.
I just want to say that I think a lot of the credit should go. I know you've mentioned should go to Swanson for that because where they were quite. When we were pressing man for man. So when I don't know what formation were they playing. They were all over. They were kind of they were kind of all over really. It says a 4-2-3-1, but they were especially in the second half where we were attacking the flat end. I've noticed it more where Ogilvy and Towler, obviously Murphy was went from their goal kicks. Murphy was right up, and then Devlin, when he came on, was right up pressing, and Ogilvy then followed and left his winger and left it, and he went to the fullback, and then Towler came across and went for the winger, and it was basically we were just going full on man to man pressing from their goal kicks, and when you watch, Swanson was with Eom at that point, and he decided that he was just going to bomb forward and press on his own, and it was a gamble, but it was a timed gamble, and it was like a gamble, but he knew what he was doing. And it was great pressing. He did it a couple of times, and he was winning the ball each time, and that's probably why he thought, I'll give it another go, and he did. And to just to carry on running. Some fullbacks would probably have stopped or gone back and kind of slowed down, but he was like, no, I'm going to go up forward, and it was a lovely ball. It was a great teasing ball in between the centre half, the defence, and the keeper. And as you said, Murphy's finish was pretty spectacular. I just wanted to give Swanson a good shout out for that.
Yeah, he deserved a lot of credit. It was a great ball in as well. Not even just well pressing. Then after that, I just thought Swansea just absolutely collapsed. All over the place at the back. Could have been more. Could have been 3 or 4 at half time. and then it was lovely to see Paddy Lane take an opportunist goal. It's probably a ball he shouldn't have won, but sort of miscommunication, but it seemed like between the defenders. And then he was able just to get a little toe on it, and goalie had no idea who was going to do that, so it was booted to his feet, and 2-0 happy days.
He did well, didn't he? Because he kind of wrapped his leg around the defender and he kind of towed it. And he said in his interview he just wanted to get something on it and hope that it went in. And I think Russ is right. The keeper Figueroa was not expecting Paddy Lane to get that. So by the time he realised that it was coming towards him, it was too late, and it was right in that corner as well. So it was great play from Lane to think of that, because a lot of players would probably go around the other side of the defender, and the defender would clear it. But he managed to get rid of it a lot quicker, get round him quicker than the defender could.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, the Lane had quite a big chunk of the lad's shirt in his hand. So, like, when I saw the replay, I was like thinking, do you know what? I was quite surprised neither the ref or the linesman sort of pulled up on that. So, like, maybe they thought because the left back. No, but that's what I mean. But from that side, from the referee side, it would have looked maybe like it was something else. But maybe because he thought the fullback wasn't in control anyway, that it's just one of those things and let it go.
If that fullback though goes down like a sack of shit, he's getting a free kick.
Yeah.
Because of Lane's leg is wrapped around him. If he goes down, whether he dives or not, which he'd do a Thompson dive or whatever, if he goes down, that's not a goal.
No. And obviously we saw in we obviously had Lane's interview after the game and stuff like that as well, and you saw his celebration, how much passion was involved in that, and I'm so glad he was able to get his goal. He played well as well. It's not just the fact he just scored. I thought he was. I mean, every player was quality, but I think he was one of the standouts, probably maybe 4 or 5 players. But yeah, so it was good after, and in listening to his interview after the game, sort of just of how much he did last season. You want him to succeed this season, and going at half time 2-0. I'm trying to think whether it was really a 2-0 half, but because obviously Swansea had a lot of the ball. But again, thinking about it,
we could have been outside in the first half.
Yeah, but there was put one wide. Murphy had another chance.
Yeah. They had a great header that Schmidt done well with.
Yeah, but the thing is, that one, I thought he has to score that header, with Schmidt was in a good position, but I felt their striker, I can't remember what his name is now, but I thought he's quite poor there. I think if that was Bishop in that situation, we'd expect him to score, and I think if he didn't score, I'd have been annoyed about it, wouldn't be fuming, because Bishop gets a bit of credit, but you'd be annoyed. I felt he was on the 6-yard box. All he had to do was put it either side of the keeper, and he scores. But he did the right thing. He headed it down, but he just headed it straight at Schmidt.
I think that's but that's what Schmidt's good at. Is he literally waits to the last split second.
Yeah,
most goalies would have anticipated a corner and probably started to dive, and then it's a case of power over the save. But where he waits so long, there was a couple of chances in the second half they had where Schmidt just waits. They sorry to take your spot, Harry, but they hit the bar, and the reason for that is he stays on his feet, makes himself so big that the only place that player could have put it was high, and he made that chance so much smaller than it would if he came out of their feet. And it was the same with the one-on-one. He just keeps his back straight. He's unbelievable. I can't express how much I love him.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Signing of the summer?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, up there. So Haz, obviously, we came out second half, 2-0 up. I don't know about you, but up until we scored the third, I was a little bit worried. What's your thoughts for the second half?
It's kind of followed the pattern of the other few games at home, the Coventry game and the Bristol City game, where we've been kind of 2 up or so at half time, or 2-1 in the Coventry game, and they've had a kind of spell for the 10-15 minutes at the beginning of the second half where they've kind of obviously had a rocket at half time to say get out there. We've kind of dropped off a little bit, which is fine because you're not going to sustain a high press for 90 minutes and actually come out of it of any good because you've been knackered. So I understand why we didn't, and we dropped off for a bit, and we managed to weather a little bit of a storm. They had a couple of chances, but nothing major. Schmid makes light work of it, as Russ said. And then it's a bit of a again another nice free kick out on the wing. Freddie Potts obviously took it, and Freddie Potts is starting to develop into a tiny little player. He's kind of starting to tick now, and you can see why West Ham rate him so highly. He's probably someone you'd probably go to West Ham and go, how much for a permanent deal? How much? 10 million. All right, bye. We'll just keep him on loan. But if the opportunity arose, I think you definitely sign him on a permanent. He's starting to really develop with Dazelle next to him. It was a great ball in it. When he first took it, I thought it was a bit flat, and I thought he hasn't got much height on that. But Towler does very well to get kind of knee high, kind of diving header, but flicks it with the side of his head, and defenders nowhere near him. Vigouroux's got no chance, and the doors opened as such. But I could see. I thought the whole team was just amazing, really. The worst player I thought that was there was Josh Key that came on for Swansea. He came on for Cabango, and he went to right centre half, I think. And he literally had just come on, and he gave the ball to Murphy straight away. And that was where the fourth goal came from. Again, talking about the high press earlier, where Murphy is really high up on the centre half, waiting on the edge of the box. As soon as he's done that, he was there and won it. And it was probably one of the easiest goals Bishop will score. Nice and easy, tap in. And yeah, that Josh Key had a tough game. He kept giving the ball away. He was one of the worst fullbacks I've seen in a long, long time. But once the third goal in, really, that was it. That was kind of game over. And Swansea were there for. It looked like they didn't know what they were doing, and they were worried. But if you're going to play the way they do, and you have 73% possession, brilliant. I don't give a shit.
No,
we deserve to win. Probably, maybe 4-0 might flatter it slightly, but certainly, probably at least 2, maybe 3-0 was probably about right, because they had a lot of the ball, but you pass it around the back between your centre halves all you like, no problem. We're happy for you to do that, because we will press you and we will do what we've done to Bristol City, Swansea, Coventry, Norwich. We got a decent point out of. We managed to keep Borja Zines quiet, who's the top scorer. At home, we're starting to make Fratton Park a fortress again, and it's going to be key. If we do stay up, then that's going to be key. And once it was kind of game done and dusted after the third one, I think they'd kind of went, yeah, we'll just try and pass a bit more. And then once the fourth one in, you probably thought we could have probably gone and got another 1 or 2, because they were really there for the taking.
Yeah, I think the third goal was so important. And Potts said it in an interview afterwards, said that obviously that at half time said the next goal will probably win the game, because I think if Swansea got it, where they were starting to apply some pressure, I did feel we sat off a little bit too much for a team that likes to move the ball the way they did. And I noticed it, especially in the second half, how wide they were, and it wasn't like they kept the width both sides when they had the ball in the middle of the pitch. And it wasn't just one player was hogging the touchline. You had 2 on either side that were getting really nice and wide. So I felt that if we hadn't have scored that third when we did, I felt maybe we might have just come a bit of a cropper, because it looked like 1 or 2 of the players they started tiring a little bit. And then when we got the third goal, the players looked like they rejuvenated, which can happen. Obviously, it's just they're buzzing off of that, and then obviously they went on and got the fourth. So Yeah, so obviously I know there was two lads obviously got their first Pompey goals this season in Lane and Towler. I felt they were both I felt they were both worthy man of the match for me. Do you think a performance like they did yesterday, do you think that changes of where they might be come the end of January?
Only if they're consistently that good. Obviously, Towler's come in and he's been a vast improvement on McIntyre over the last few weeks, and Towler's getting more minutes, and the more minutes he plays, the better he's looking, and he's building a good partnership with Ogilvie on his left side, Pack on his right. He's starting to look more comfortable. He's looking much better than a 22-year-old or whatever he is that's played only a few select handful of games last season, and again the same this season, and has kind of been left as the only last resort. It's felt at times. Obviously, playing Pack at centre half, playing him at left centre half with Paul. When you've got two left-sided centre halves on the bench, it can't be easy to sit there and think, well, that geezer's playing in my position. And Paddy has really struggled this year, hasn't he? But he looks like the player we knew from last year, and to be able to switch it on, and if he can stick at that, I don't need to look for another right winger in January. But I would still have one on my radar because he needs to have a very, very good January to be able to keep that going. And if he doesn't, then you look for another one. But if he can keep that level of performance up, then if he can get another probably 3 or 4 goals and assists in January as a minimum, then depends if he starts, obviously. But if he can keep that kind of level of performance up, then I think you keep him and Richie. So I think they've definitely thrown a spanner kind of in the works of whether you get rid of them or not. I still think you get a centre half in January anyway. Whether Towler stays or not, I think you probably then Towler stays, McIntyre goes. But Paddy's definitely played himself and given Messino and Hughes food for thought, I think.
For me, I never understood the criticism Towler used to get because I actually thought he'd done all right at the beginning of the season. It was a massive step up, barely played any football last season. And I even thought, even against Bristol City, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. Not much he could do when Pack had the sort of game he did. But with Paddy Lane, I think it's too early to say. He needs to have a really good January for me to want to keep him. Like one performance don't just cut it for me anyway.
No, I agree. I felt Lane was decent enough against Norwich. But yeah, so I think it's going to be a very interesting into January. Yeah, I thought it just shows in it that you have to sometimes have to give players just a little bit extra time because if you look at Lane and Towler as examples, like I think Towler's played more minutes this season than he did for the entirety of last season, and that was in League One. So you have to give certain players a bit more extra time. Like people like Richie adapt quicker because they've played at higher levels, and obviously he didn't have a great start. Now he's like one of the best players on the pitch. So yeah, I think it's about time and giving these players time. But we're in January now. You've only got a short window of opportunity for Lane to kick on. And I really hope he does because he seems like a top lad. And you want players like that around because you know what you get from him from an attitude point of view. I think that's us stuff for the review. Should we move on to the Sunderland preview?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Lovely. Well, actually, one thing I do want to mention is that if anyone deserves decent credit from the game yesterday, it's my other half. That's her third game this season, her third win. She's seen 11 goals and 2 goals conceded.
It's a buyer.
So, wow, she wants to get a season ticket next season. So we're like in the January window, we'll make sure we get enough to finish the season on a high and then get her in on a permanent come the summer. So yeah, let's move on to the Sunderland preview. So we're heading up to the Stadium of Light on Sunday. One lad I know that's going, my mate Drew, is leaving at like 4:30 Sunday, which is it's going to be enjoyable.
Enjoy that trip.
Yeah, at least, as he said, at least he can have a sleep and stuff like that. So that's ideal. I did say maybe download some podcasts because I've heard there's a few good Pompey ones knocking around. But yeah, so he has. What's your view on Sunderland on Sunday?
Gonna be tough, isn't it? Really tough. They just beat Sheffield United at home. I think it was last night. They've got in the last 5 games, they've won 3, drawn 1, and lost 1. They've bizarrely lost to Stoke, so we're not the only ones. Although they didn't lose 6-1. Now they're sitting 4th in the table. They've got a pretty decent squad. Obviously, got Joe Bellingham. Obviously, was it what was the score when it was here? Was it 4-1 here?
No, 3-1. I think was it
3-1.
And I thought that I don't. It wasn't a 3. It wasn't that sort of game. No, it wasn't that sort of game for me, to be honest.
Yeah, it was 3-1. Alan Brown, Romain Mundle, and a Zach Swanson own goal. Yeah. I think it's going to be really tough. We've lost the last 2 against them. Obviously, last time we played them before August was in January 2022, where we lost 1-0 to an Elliot Embleton goal. That was under the Cowleys?
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
because that's after COVID season, wasn't it? So,
yeah. So our last
game and all.
Huh?
If I remember rightly, we played all right in that game and all.
Probably. Our last win against them was the 4-0, which was that mad rain one where it made John Marquise turn into R9. But it's they're doing very well. Their biggest win is a 4-0 win against Wednesday. They've only lost by 1 goal. Is their biggest loss. There's a 3-2 loss to Plymouth somehow. That was right at the beginning of the season, though. I can't find the last time we played them in the Championship, so sorry about that. But
that'd probably be like 98 or 99 or something like that.
The referee is Thomas Bramall. He has refereed us 5 times. 4 of them have been wins. 1 in the EFL Trophy beat Arsenal. Then we beat Ipswich away, Bristol Rovers at home, Wimbledon at home. And our most recent one was our 1-0 loss to Tottenham in the FA Cup. So he hasn't refed us for a couple of years. So we've got a pretty good ref. As I said, like the last one, we haven't lost for a while under him. So maybe that's a good thing. But I'll be positive. I'll go for 1-1. See if we can get something away.
Yeah, Russ, what's your thoughts?
Big pitch.
Shit.
Weirdly enough, it's a sort of game where we're either going to get smashed or we somehow scrape a result. I'll be shocked if it's just like 1-0 Sunderland. And again, and I've said it before with Watford, that wouldn't be a horrendous result. But I'm going really negative, boys. I just think we're going to get smashed. I'm going 3 Sunderland. I'm giving us a goal because I don't like picking the other teams to score.
Disgusting behaviour. Who's your goal scorer?
I think
mine was Richie.
Yeah. Who's yours, Russ?
Just to be against Sunderland.
We might get a penalty somehow, Bishop.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, like my thinking is that the games we played away, we played very badly. We played against teams that we expect to have a good go at and maybe pick up some points. And the teams that you would write us off against, we seem to have been competing quite well. Maybe it's a mentality thing. Maybe it's the way we set up. So, I mean, following on from that, I suppose have to keep going and be positive. I've actually thought let's maybe go for a 2-2, a Desmond, and I've gone with Callum Lang to score our goal. So yeah, I mean that'll be I think a point on the road would be massive. If we could even get 3, that'd be unbelievable, wouldn't it? Like going into the FA Cup game, because then that gives us a bit of I think we'll rest players anyway, not because of we think we can beat Wickham easily or anything like that, but I think obviously the league's the most important part. But if we can get a really positive result against Sunderland, I think everyone will be pretty chilled about of a massively changed side and potentially going out against Wickham. I think everyone will be cool with that.
I don't really give a shit about the FA Cup, to be honest.
Nah. I mean, it's one of those things, though. It's nice to win, isn't it? It's nice to keep winning and potentially get. But in the long run, that's why I hope that we can get a really good performance on Sunday, get a really positive result, whether that's a draw or a win, or even if we just like Watford, we lose a game where we didn't deserve to lose because we've competed and played well.
As we're not expecting a lot out of this game, so as long as there's substance to the performance, which there hasn't been in the last few away games, we've looked toothless. So as long as there's some substance there, if we lose 2-0, 3-0, but you've had a go and you've had some substance, we might just be outclassed by them.
Yeah, just fine.
As long as you can see there's fight for the shirt, which Russ said about last time, as long as there's fight and effort and they put their asses into gear and they show some fight, you can't ask for any more.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the biggest thing for me will be if we do go 1-0 down, especially in the first half, and if it's early, how we react to that. Because every time we've been away from home and we've conceded early, well, obviously not the Leeds and that sort of game, but that seems like a million miles away now. But most recent away games, whenever we've conceded early, we've seen capitulate, and it's been like 2 and 3 straight away. So for me, even if we do go 1-0 down, it'll be, have we learnt anything from the last few games away from home? And then if we do then go into half time, say 1-0 down, and we're looking solid, I'd be more than happy.
Absolutely.
Played everyone now, bar Millwall, but we have because we played them in the Cup.
Blackburn,
right. So, my opinion, out of all the teams we played against this season, they have been the best team we played.
Yeah, Sunderland, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think it's close. I haven't even been that impressed with anyone this season, probably other than Sunderland.
Regis Lebree's doing a really good job with that team, and he's got some incredible youngsters in there as well. Obviously, with Bellingham and Chris Rigg, Dan O'Nine's looking good for them as well.
Well, at the moment, in my opinion, in terms of away players, I think Bellingham and the Cardiff lad, I forgot his name, are probably the 2 best performances against us this season.
Yeah. Lovely. Right. Well, that's not too negative, to be fair. Like, any negative nearly is Russ, but that's fine. That's no worries.
I'm going.
Do you not want to know the updated fixture table?
Yeah.
No, probably not. I know why Russ does, but
we all had a win. I know we didn't.
So the Bristol City game, we all got 0 points.
Yeah.
The less said about that, the better. Swansea, we all got the 1 point because we all predicted a win. But Russ and Daz both got an extra 2 points because they went for Murphy and Bishop.
Boom.
I decided to go for the man informed Callum Lang, and he decided to not score. So I think we should probably sell him in January.
Yeah, good idea.
So the table is as follows. I am now bottom on 13 points. Daz is second on 14 points, and Russ is top on 16 points.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Lovely. Perfect. So, should we move on to Haz versus Daz?
Yep. Let me just clear my throat. So, I've told you nothing, ever. Nothing at all.
No, you haven't actually.
And there's a reason for that, is because what we're playing, I didn't want either of you having a chance to research.
Oh, no.
So, basically, what we're playing is I will name, obviously, Pompey and another club. You both got to give me a player that's played for both. Nice and simple.
Okay.
But I'm going to have 2 players written down per club. And if you say them, then you basically don't get a point. And obviously you don't get a point if you're wrong, got a wrong answer either.
So
if you both say a player, it doesn't matter. You both just get a point.
So whoever shouts out first, is it? Or just get both one answer down?
Player, have a think when I say
Can we say as many? Is it once we've said it, we're out, or can we say as many names as we want until we get one of the ones you've got?
One player per team. But I forgot to say, actually, because we can't see each other, what would probably be easier actually is if we did a club at a time each. So instead of having a go on both of them, you would have a club each. That make sense?
Yeah.
Because obviously one could say a player, and then the other one could just say, "Yeah, I've got him too."
Oh yeah.
But if you guess the players I've written down, then you will lose your point.
Jesus.
And there's 2 per club, so just to warn. Yeah, you with me?
Right.
Understand?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. First, I'm gonna go easy first on both of you. Who wants to go first? Actually, I'm gonna give Harry. Harry will 6-3 down.
Yeah, Daz can go first because I ain't got a clue what's going on. So Daz can go first, and I might understand it by my turn.
Quite easily is so. Daz, you've got a player that's played. Don't shout straight away. Played for Pompey and Tottenham.
And who?
And Tottenham.
On Tottenham.
So, but if you say 2 of the players that I've written down, you don't get a point.
He gets just one guess.
Okay.
Yeah, one player. That's all he needs.
Okay.
Pamaro.
Oh, well done. 1 point to you. I had written down Teddy Sheringham and Darren Anderson.
Oh. See, you have massive loads to choose from, but I try to choose a less obvious
Cabal,
one.
Crouchy, Defoe, Cransard.
Yeah, I went for an easy one at the beginning. They will get harder.
Oh, right, okay.
I've fucking stupidly have lost the website I was on that told me. Pressed the wrong button while I wasn't looking. Right, are you ready, Haz?
Let's go.
You just need a player that's played for Pompey and Manchester United. And I've got to stress, they've had to actually played for both. Not, they were in the academy or something like that.
I was just going for who have we loaned in from Manchester United. On that, Deshaun Bernard.
So you go?
Yeah, 2 right.
Yeah, he has. He's made I think 2 appearances for Man United. Well done. Yeah, I didn't put him down. I put Richie Dillette, and I also put down again Teddy Sheringham.
Oh yeah.
Right, Daz. So that's 1 all.
Mm-hmm.
You are going for a Pompey player that's also played for one of the teams we played over the Christmas period, Bristol City.
Okay. Trying to think of players that you want.
Remember, I've got players written down.
I've got 2.
This might be too easy. Yeah, Callum Pring. Callum Pring?
I've had a feeling you would pick a current player. Sorry, Daz, I got that written down.
Could I steal it?
As long as you
both want.
You happy with that, Daz? Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
You probably got this one down as well, but Cal Naismith.
No, I didn't. I put Joe Morrell down.
Stole it.
Actually, no, let's not do it.
Unlucky. So, Haz, you have got another one that we played, which was yesterday, Pompey and Swansea.
It's too easy to go for the bloke who plays for them right now. So... Jesus Christ. I'm just going to say Pitt Harris because I can't think of anyone else.
Oh, you got away with that one. Yep, point for you. Jamal and Kieran Freeman I went for as well.
Did he play for Swansea, did he?
He did, yep. Right. Daz?
Let's go.
You are going for Portsmouth and the team we are playing on Sunday, Sunderland.
Again, this is going to annoy me because I've Chris Maguire.
Well done. I had Sully Montari and Aidan O'Brien.
Well, you've got Alex Bass as well. He was going to be my snatch if I had him.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's quite a few actually. Trevor Carson, Cabal, Nyron Nosworthy, if you remember him.
Jesus Christ.
Right. Haz. I'm looking for Pompey and Watford.
Pompey and Watford. Trying to picture a Pompey player wearing a Watford shirt and it's not.
I've got one.
Always ready to steal.
Look at me, I've got one.
Gimme. Did he? I don't. I have a feeling he was here. Hogg.
Hogg?
Jonathan Hogg?
Yeah, well done. Yeah, Jonathan Hogg.
That's a great one.
So
my one was Tommy Smith. Was that Tommy Smith? His name? I had his name in my head. I just lost it. Yeah.
That was a good shout. I had David James, just where he started, and Eunice Cabal, which is why I just said him because I thought he might have brought it to mind. Right, Daz.
Yeah.
You have got Pompey and Blackburn.
Got one straight away. I just hope this is not in your thing. Aaron McQuenna.
Well done.
Yeah.
I went for Tim Sherwood and Isle Berkovic.
Oh, yeah, Berkovic. Yeah. I didn't realise he played for Batman, actually.
I don't think he played there much.
No.
Right. Has Pompey West Ham?
So easy, but I don't know if you'd have put him in. Let's just do it. Freddie Potts.
Yeah, I thought you might say Freddie Potts. Well, one at it would say Freddie Potts. So Daz, chance to steal. Who's my other one?
Gary O'Neill.
Oh, shout! Well done. I went for Shaka.
Boom.
So 3-3, yeah. I think it's 3-3.
Yeah, 3-3. Yep.
How many questions left?
Got 2 each.
Oh, lovely.
Go on, Dazza.
Squeaky bum time.
So Daz.
Yeah.
You got Pompey and Newcastle.
Right. Hoping you've got this one. Pavel Srdacek.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I did a little giggle because I wanted to put you off going Richie. I went for Laurent Robert.
Oh, yeah. They're trying to find the most inconspicuous one. Like, that's what I was trying to go for.
It's 4-4. It is 4-4. Yeah.
Nice.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 4-4.
Oh.
You both stolen one.
Yeah, Daz started though.
You had.
Yeah, I did start.
So he's winning 4-3.
Yes, he would be. Yeah. Sorry, I had in my head you started Haz. That was why. I was putting on the wrong side of the name.
See,
I got cold.
I'll be nice and honest, Daz, because I could have gone 5-4 up then.
I was just putting the score against the wrong name.
Would have called VAR though.
Mike Dean would have said this is mate, so he don't care.
Pompey and which one should I give you? Arsenal.
A fair few there, isn't there?
Another loan, Miguel Aziz.
Did he play for Arsenal?
Oh. Might play. Did he play like a cup game or anything? He probably did because they all played in cup games, didn't they?
Did he not play for Arsenal?
I'm just gonna fact check. He actually got on the pitch. 2 seconds. He probably did. He probably played in like a cup game, like you said. But I don't see his name on the list.
Oh. VAR.
Or one appearance in Europe.
Yes!
That's a great shout.
Why his name in on the list? Because I think it was like games that are played in like the English league.
Oh, snuck it in there on a technicality.
At the back post.
Right, one each left.
Lovely.
Right. Daz, Pompey, and which of the two should I give you? A or B, Daz?
B.
Derby.
Derby. There's like 3 that are currently there, which I'm tempted to say. But I'm going to go for it anyway. Sonny Bradley.
I had a feeling someone might say him.
Fuck.
So I can still.
You can still.
Let's go for one of the others that's currently there. Then we'll go Harness.
Who?
Harness.
Oh, you can have Harness. I went one current, and I went for Darren Moore for the other one.
I had Mendes Lang in my head as well. I was tempted, but
right, Haz to win it.
I mean, I've already. Oh no, actually, I haven't already won.
No, if you still.
No, fair enough. Sorry, getting ahead of myself there.
So, you are going for Pompey and Coventry.
You bastard. That's a tough one.
I've got one in my head already.
There's actually quite a lot.
Is there?
Yeah. But a lot of them are older, to be fair.
Oh, well, that's not fair on me.
I can think of 3, I think, right now.
Oh, go Jordi Hirula.
Why did I put him down? I was going to put him down. Well done.
Great shout.
Well done. I went for Mark McNulty, which, funny enough, you said earlier. And I also went for Chris Maguire, which you both said earlier. So, Haz, you won.
Got one back.
All right.
And that's now 4 overall to Daz. Scoring it back.
Just making it interesting.
He's letting me have it. I like that. I don't mind that.
He's eased up. He didn't want to, smash you.
Christmas period, isn't it? It's like a lot of games. So, like, obviously, one game you get to give away.
Cheeky.
Yeah.
Right. Are we moving on to my favourite part of the week?
Let's do it.
Are you ready for my intro?
Yeah, always.
Oh, yeah.
This is a non-singing intro. We're not doing the singing one again. That was just a shits and giggles one. Yeah, are we ready? Let's go. It is Haz versus Daz.
We need to get someone with a real distinctive voice to go, Haz versus Daz and Harry's Who Am I? And things like
that. Yeah, we need to find someone, don't we? Right, I've done a Russ and shut down what I was using, so I'll just get that back up.
Easily done, mate.
Right, what episode are we on? 17, 18. Here we go. Portsmouth. Oh, your first clue. Portsmouth is the only English club I played for.
Could be a trick question. Could be the only club you pay for.
Yeah.
Nicolaisen, whatever his name was. Rasmus.
Oh, Rasmus Nikolaisen.
Liam Walker.
Oh, that's
Both incorrect.
That's a good shout. Underrated ball. He was.
Didn't Liam Walker go to Notts County or something? I swear she went to another England club. Because Pandavani, that was another name I had in my head as well.
Good shout. Keep that in your head.
Yeah.
Right, clue number 2. I got the assist for the winning goal, which won my team the European Championships.
I thought you were going to say some assist for Pompey then. I thought, I've got this. European Championship.
Got the assist for winning what? Winning the Euros or the Champions League?
Listen to the question.
Go on then.
I got the assist. I got the assist for the winning goal, which won my team the European Championships.
That's the Euros then. I'm sure it is. Or could it be the Champions League? I don't know. But then we didn't have many foreigners back in the day when it was called the European Championships. Just trying to think who's won the Euros. So Spain won it this year. We don't have Cucurella, thank God. Who won the last one? Was it France?
No, Italy.
No, Italy against
us.
Yeah,
beat us, didn't they? Yeah.
Then Portugal before that.
Yeah, so it's not that one.
Spain before that.
It won't be that one. Don't have any Spanish players.
I don't know who won it in 2008. Oh,
Spain again, wasn't it?
Spain again.
2004 was Greece. Gaycast playing that game.
Who won it in 2000 then?
Who's the midfielder we had? The Greek midfielder.
Oh, Bassinas.
Yeah, he didn't go up, did he? Yeah, Bassinas?
Correct.
Oh, yes! Daz, well done.
Well done, Daz.
That was teamwork there as well.
You give the assist to Russ there for naming the Euros winners.
Yeah, I'll take the assist question.
Yeah, because I was torn between whether it was actually the Euros or whether it was like a club European competition, because it's trying to remember the exact wording, because that's what I thought Harry tried to trip us up on, with the exact wording.
That's why we say listen to the question.
Yeah. So what was the third clue, out of curiosity?
The third clue was a poll among Portsmouth fans in January 2010 showed that he's appreciated by the fans. 77% of the fans believe that he has a creative touch and must play, while 2% believed he should have left the club.
Yeah, that probably would have given it away a little bit, because he was a very underrated player, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought he was all right. He played against Scum, didn't he, when we beat him 4-1 at their place?
Yeah, he had a
good game. But I think he did come off, didn't he, at some point? Because I think he came off for old Quincy Wusu-Bay, I think. We tried to go a bit more direct attacking, because to be fair, they were all over us first half, weren't they?
No.
No. Don't remember that.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I only turned it on in the 50th minute.
Wow, lovely. Well, on that fucking positive note, I don't know if there's any other business from anyone.
I think there's a few. I still want to talk about Bar.
Yeah, should we finish on Bar, shall we?
We didn't talk about it last week.
No.
Do we have to? For fuck's sake.
Yeah, we did.
Well, it's very apt, actually, because I think, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet from, which is weirdly a Preston fan, I think he was, tweeting about Murphy doing the old, is it Ayatollah, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
In front of the Swansea fans. And I knew, when I saw that, I knew someone was going to pipe up, or some people were going to pipe up about it. And it's a completely different scenario, isn't it? Like the amount of players that have celebrated a goal in front of the Fratton end at the Pompey fans, they get a bit of stick back, but no one really cares, do they? Because it's expected. But obviously with Bar, the fact that he ran over to the Pompey fans, did a fortnight dance, and then ran away from Devlin. I think the whole situation was just embarrassing for him as total, wasn't it? And then obviously
A
since
grown
then,
man doing a dance from a child's game is a bit embarrassing.
And I'm not just saying this because it was a Watford player doing it towards us, but if that was a Pompey player doing it, I would be absolutely fuming.
I'd have cringed at that if one of our players did that.
If one of our players, if he ran over and gave it like a couple of the ears or a shush or a knee slide, you know what? I would have fucking gone dickhead, but I'll rate that because I love winding fans. Like I love it when players wind fans up. I think it's brilliant. But the whole thing, as you've both said, embarrassing. To do a dance like he did, and then to run away from Devlin just made it even more funnier. I'm all for winding up. I do think it's a bit harsh to send him off, but then I think the rules are where he enticed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the words. Basically,
incited.
But it's a second yellow, wasn't it? It wasn't a straight red. So.
No. Yeah, it was a second yellow. So, but it's frustrating in terms of like then people jump. So every time one of our players now do anything, people are going to jump on it. What Murphy done is what any other ex-Cardiff player would have done.
Yeah.
No different to, I'm sure, if a Scummer schools down here this season, they're going to do the same. But that's just part and parcel of football. But to do what he did is completely embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly, and that's I think that's the main takeaway from it all, isn't it? Like, and the fact that, like, again, if Bar was down in the corner and the final whistle went, and he was obviously that's the corner where obviously the Pompey fans were, where if he was down in that corner trying to see the game out, and then the whistle went, and then he just stood there in front of the Pompey fans, give it a big one. It's not a problem, but it's because he's gone from where he was and he's ran all the way over. It's made it a bit worse, and then running away.
Why wouldn't you celebrate in front of your own fans?
Yeah. And all because like they were going, oh, Pompey fans are crying because he did a fortnight dance. Well, the bloke was crying because a few fans went bah.
Yeah. Well, and then obviously you had that idiot that's like, is he a TikToker for Watford and trying to make out? But now he's deleted everything. He's gone private, that sort of stuff. It's just don't get me wrong, like
he did it for clicks.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the internet. Like people don't need to be. You don't need to be right anymore. You just need to be the first to get stuff out there and that sort of stuff. And if you want to like say that Pompey players just abusing a player, is what it is. But when you start trying to sort of insinuate it's got racial undertones or like if it's like sexist or things like that, then if you're trying to pitch something up like that, then you're going to have to come back on you. And the fact that instead of it was singing the Bar Bar Black Sheep song, it was just someone shouting bar at him. And then he said he was told by someone, he'd never heard it. So it's like, you're getting second or third information and then putting out like it's real. And then he was like, I think underneath it, someone had commented on one of his TikTok videos and he said, oh, this proves it. It's like, but again, that could be some random person. How do you know he's a Pompey fan? It's just like he was scrambling around, and that's the problem with like TikTok and that sort of stuff nowadays, isn't it? It's people want clicks, they want to big themselves up and that sort of stuff. It's unfortunately it's the world we live in at the moment.
Well, you got to be careful what you say.
Exactly, 100%. And that's the thing. I mean, for me, I like with my socials and stuff like that. I never say anything on my socials that I wouldn't say in public because I don't say anything that's outrageous. So obviously, you say you have a F's and Jeffs while you're watching the football at Pompey, but nothing ever that is offensive or anything like that because I'm not that kind of person. So I don't know. It is what it is, isn't it? But
speaking of other Wallies, I think Harry, you want to talk about Maddison, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
that's a great segue.
It was.
That's an unbelievable segue. I don't know why everyone's crying about Maddison calling that bloke a Wally. Okay, Spurs were shit, right? You shouldn't. If you're Spurs, you shouldn't be drawing 2-2 with Wolves. But
am I right in thinking though he's been their best player? Well, you would know. You watch more than me.
No, he's done all right in the last few weeks, but he's kind of been dipping in and out of the team really because Kulusevski's been playing as the 10. But if he wants to go to the darts, let him go to the fucking darts. Who cares? Yeah. Yes, Spurs were crap and they drew 2-2 against someone in the relegation zone.
But football.
It's football, right? If he wants to go to Ali Pali and have a nice time, he's not going there to get a smash. He probably didn't even have a drink. He went there with Brennan Johnson, had a laugh, wanted to watch some darts. He loves darts. His celebration is darts. I don't get what's wrong with it. And the fact that then he replied to someone who went, "Oh, you should be doing that. What do you want to do to lock himself in a dark room and just sit there and cry or something?" I don't know. And then he said, "Shut up, you Wally." And then he gets more shit. It's like, no, leave him alone. Let him. He can call out fans for being idiots.
Words do hurt, you know.
Well, it's only Wally. It's not.
I know.
If he swore at him or something, you know, like calling someone a Wally is one of the most soft insults you can get.
Yeah. And I think even if he told him to do one, it's not a problem, is it? I mean, like after some games, like say Tottenham had got stuffed by Arsenal 5-0, and then he's out in Ali Pali, I'd understand some backlash. And for optics, it's one of those things where players should have their own sort of, like, they do have their own life, things like that. But if it's like a derby game and you've just got stuffed 5-0, then you think, is it best you go out? Like, is it best to put yourself in that scenario? But when it's 2-2 against Wolves, not ideal result. But again, it's not been an ideal season, has it, really, for Tottenham? But yeah, you can't dictate to players what they do and don't do in their own free time, as long as it's all above board and legal and that sort of stuff, and they're not making the club look silly.
That's it. It's not like when Ronan Curtis went down to Astoria and started fighting people. Like that puts the club in. That puts the club in a bad light. But
to be fair,
had a good time and carried on.
But to be fair, even if a player got in a fight in town, I wouldn't care less. Like if a player's out with, like, say Marlon Pack and Matt Ritchie out on a night out together, so randomly, and like they both get into a fight and they're sticking up for each other and like fighting a couple of other lads, I wouldn't have a problem with that. They're just being normal guys. That's what happens.
You need to understand the context of what happens first, don't you?
So, like, sometimes you go into town and sometimes there's idiots there that want to start on you and you're going to stick up for yourself. That's what just happens. I don't think there's many guys that have been in town and not got into a bit of a scuffle, not necessarily because of their fault. It's life. It's what happens. But like, I mean, it's a bit like that David Coote thing you spoke about. Oh no, a bloke did drugs. Like, that's a shock. It's not like anyone else has ever done drugs in their lifetime. But it sometimes can just be the optics, can't it? If you need to pick and choose, you shouldn't have to. But the problem is now everyone's got a camera phone. Everyone's a journalist. And the pictures get out there. Back in the day, you hear stories like Mercer and that when they're talking about them going out back in the day. They could do it, and they're so happy that they're sort of, I'm sure they'd like to be paid the wages, but for them to go out back in the 90s wasn't a problem.
They used to have a Tuesday club at Arsenal, didn't they?
Yeah, and unless you got papped by the paparazzi, you got away with it wherever you wanted. It'd just be through word of mouth. But nowadays, everyone's got a phone. Everyone gets it out. Their phone, that is, and then we'll take pictures. And then we'll take pictures. So yeah, it is what it is, I think.
What did you think about Neil Maupay's tweet then about Everton?
It is what it is, isn't it, with him? Like, he's just a wind-up merchant. Like, and I don't like if he gets some. I don't know if he's ever going to be playing over this country again, anything like that. But if anyone like sort of says something to him, or I'm not saying get violent with him, but he can't be one of these people that will sort of cry about it if he somehow got a slap off someone. Like, because that's it with the internet nowadays.
Could you imagine, though, back in the day with social media, with the likes of what sort of abuse Robbie Savage would have got, or Roy Keane, or, you know, people now love Roy Keane, but at the time they fucking didn't. Do you
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Sometimes social media can help you become a bit more likable, because you see more of them and you hear more of what they got to say. Like Roy Keane, you only saw him in the scenario playing football where he was a born winner and he did things that made him win and made his team win. And no one liked Man United at that time, did they? Because obviously Man United were winning everything over here.
Yeah,
I just think it's funny because Pompey's still technically an Everton player. He's just on loan at Marseille.
Yeah, which is.
I know it's turning up. I think it's like an obligation to turn permanent, but it was funny, and he is a complete shithouse. It's like him and Jamie Vardy. Like,
yeah,
I love both of them. I think what they do is so funny, and if they did it to us at some point, I would just stand there and applaud because you've just got to admire it. It's funny.
I can remember. I can't remember what team. It might be Cambridge. We lost. We lost at Fratton Park, and the goalie turned round and absolutely was giving it some to the Fratton end. And you were like, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, fucking knobhead," like things like that. And then there's me clapping him, going, "Fucking brilliant, mate." I just love it. I know I would have been a wind up if I was a footballer. I would have been, I think unfortunately that sort of type of players are dying now. Do you mean?
Yeah. It reminds me of that Jason Manford sketch when he stood there and he said, "If I was a footballer, I would just stand there and take all the abuse." He goes, Your mum's a bitch, yeah, but she lives in a great house now. See you later. Yeah. Cheers for coming, guys. You just love it, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't give a shit. It's why I always wouldn't mind being a ref because that wouldn't bother me either. I'd be like, "Boo me, penalty."
And the ball's at the other end of the pitch, so I wouldn't give him that. Perfect, guys. So I think, is that a good little point to finish on, or you got some more?
I've got more.
Last thing I've got, according to FotMob, it is John Messino's 100th game in charge against Sunderland.
How many quarter zips has he worn in that time, though? That's the main question I want to know.
I don't know, but he looks absolutely stunning.
He does.
Your love for him is worrying, Harry.
I do love him. He's a good-looking bloke. He's won us the league. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, top man.
46 wins, 30 draws, and 23 losses. 46% win percentage of 1.7 points per game. I think he's done pretty well, don't you, lads?
Yeah, no. I tweeted yesterday. If back him, which is what I want to bring up, the window. Back him, and he will keep us up. I have no qualms about Messino at all.
No, me neither.
No, I agree.
So I was going to bring up, now looking back at summer, I think we all gave the summer transfer probably like an 8 or 7 out of 10. Do you think now we'll probably be lowering that?
Yes.
But it's to a certain extent, but obviously if you look at some of the players that we brought in the summer, they've been massive as well, haven't they? If you look at Schmid, Murphy, Ritchie, Potts, Dazelle, like it's I think it's a very 50-50, like half of the signings
go from like an 8, which means most of your signings are top quality, to like
I think it goes down to kind of like a 6.5.
Yeah,
I'd say 7.5 for me, because I think the half the signings they brought in have been absolutely probably better than I thought they might be, especially like Potts and Dazelle. But then you've got the other half that haven't made any impact whatsoever. They've been totally null and void. So I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? I'd say 7.5 for me. I'm still going to be positive about it.
I do love your positivity.
Got it.
And that's coming from Mr. Negative over there as well, Dan.
Yeah,
so well done.
Exactly.
I'm not Mr. Negative. I'm Mr. Realist.
Realist. I think the thing is, like, we know the situation, what's going to happen this month. We knew what the club needed to do 2-3 months ago. So all the other bad results in between, say Stoke and now, like, has not changed my view on the club have to put in good money, whether that is loan fees or whether that's like transfer fees. It would not bother me if we bought in, so I'm just exaggerating, 4 or 5 loans, as long as they kept us up, and then in the summer we went and spent money on players permanently. For me, don't know what you guys think about that.
I think you need to find a middle ground. It's more probably about championship experience and bringing that ready-made player in rather than necessarily the amount of money or loans or how many loans, but you're more likely to be able to get them in with a transfer fee than you are on a loan. Only because if they're playing Championship football now, or in the Prem, maybe in the Prem, are you going to get Are you going to get a loan from another Championships club? Unless it's someone kind of on the periphery of Sheffield United or Leeds, you're probably not going to get a loan from a Championship squad. So you're going to be looking at Premier League loans, and even then they'll probably be youngsters. So they haven't got the Championship quality because they haven't got. Well, they might do, but they don't have the Championship experience rather. So you're probably looking at more fees that in January. You'd probably aim for five or six players. You'd probably want, if you go for 5, you go 3 permanent, 2 loans. Is probably what you'd probably want ideally, I'd say.
Yeah, and the things with the January window, it's very domino effect, isn't it? Like sort of, if there's a player say at Leeds, you're waiting for Leeds to bring a player in and so forth and that stuff like that. So I think January is a really tough one because a lot of teams will wait because they won't want to pull the trigger on a player leaving unless they know they've definitely got that player coming in. And especially sort of like say a club like Leeds where they got their pants pulled down with Dan James, didn't they? That one season where they tried to get him in from Swansea and then it got pulled last minute. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. Like one thing I'll do say about that is that I saw a few Pompey fans talking about Ronnie Edwards. He was never going to come here, even if we put in a great bid on him. Like on loan, he wouldn't have come. Imagine the uproar with them down the road with their fans. If he came to us, kept us up, like you mean, and then we potentially play against them next season. Like they'd be fuming, wouldn't they? Like I wouldn't want if Saints were in the division below us. I wouldn't want a potential player for us keeping them up and going down there. I'd be like, nah, sorry, see you later. Go somewhere else.
I just found it bizarre the overreaction of it, as if like they just signed this world class centre back.
I mean, I know he got put on his arse by Yengi last year.
Yeah,
but he is a very talented young centre half.
Of course he is, but he's
he is. Yeah,
he's not.
But they've signed him of barely playing a single minute in 6 months.
And so he's never played Championship football.
Yeah, and he also got put on his arse by Bishop when we played him at home. Bishop like threw him around like a rag doll, and like that's the thing, like because obviously I've got Saints mates because I live in Winchester. Like, they're more acquaintances, I'd say actually. Yeah, but it's like what I said about Bazzuno. It's like what I said about Bazzuno with him. I was like, great signing, but it's a big step up for a player that's not even played in the Championship and he's going straight to the Premier League. It's like it doesn't really make much sense unless he's going to loan back out. So I don't know.
For me, that's different. What they've done is you'd be better off going, who's the best centre back in League One at the moment, and try and buy him because at least they played football. That's So if you're going to go like that way, like I thought it was a massive overreaction by our fans. Like
I think if he was at another Premier League team, then I think why not go for him? But you're never signing someone from Scum, are you? Come on.
No, it was ridiculous.
Especially on loan, as I said, they wouldn't want to risk it. They wouldn't want to risk him potentially coming in, keeping us up, and then
also the same people that overreacted and would want him in. If he made a mistake and scored an own goal, they would be the first ones to go, he's done it on purpose. He doesn't want to play for us. Like,
and that's it. Imagine if he had a couple of bad games, he'd be absolute. If you think Sawera's treatment was bad, Ronnie Edwards would get it right.
What happened to Alan McLaughlin?
Yeah.
Like, I know he turned it around, but when he first come, he weren't late, was he?
No.
But my last little thing still on the January window is who do you think where do we think you need to strengthen? And obviously we need to ship at least 3 or 4 out. Who are you going for?
Well, I'll go quick. I've got the squad in front of me, so I'll go quickly of who I'd get rid of. So Will Norris can go. Then you probably look to bring in, if you can bring in an under-21s keeper that's for your third choice, then doesn't count as part of your list, but then you could still let Toby Stewart carry on his loan. Ogilvy I would keep now. He's really impressed me the last few weeks. He's come through and has started to get grips of the Championship, so I'll actually keep him. Regan Paul you keep. Jordan Williams I'd loan out or get rid of. He is not as good as Swanson or Devlin, so I think he's third choice right back right now. So either loan him out or let him go. McIntyre can go. Shaughnessy you keep. Swanson you keep. Bauer, well, it doesn't matter. Towler I think you now keep. Farrell obviously you keep. Devlin you keep. Pack keep. Stevenson obviously is going to be binned off. I think it'll end up being you terminate his contract because no fucker will probably want him. Moxon, I think you keep. Dazelle keep. Lang keep. Lowry goes. Kamara goes out on loan. Potts you keep. Ritchie keep. Murphy keep. Bishop keep. Sorensen loan. Silvera you send back. Paddy Lane, it depends. Really, it depends on how he plays in the next few games. If he picks up and carries on, as we discussed earlier.
Is if you can get someone better, then why not?
Yes, I think it's a mixture of if he carries on performing the way he did the other day, then he stays. But if there's someone that's better than him on offer, you take them, even if it's a loan, and then you loan Paddy out to continue his development. Sadie, that's pretty much the same, I'd say. If you can loan him out to let him play a good amount of football, if there's someone else you can bring in instead, then I don't see why you don't do that. Yengi,
you keep Yengi because you just don't know what you're going to get with him there.
yeah,
if he turns on,
he can come in moments, isn't it? He can come out with a moment out of nowhere.
He's a big game player. You look at all the big games we played in. He's either scored or had an impact. Peterborough, Bolton, Barnsley, doing.
Blair, you loan out. Omani,
you send him back?
No, actually, I think I'd keep him because he's probably the closest one to Colby Bishop we've got. So I'd actually keep him because he's probably second choice. I'd probably start him over Yengi right now. So that would be mine. But
so where do we need to strengthen, in your opinion?
You need a centre half, probably right-sided rather than left. You would potentially look at a left-back maybe on loan just because of the availability of Farrell, but I know he's meant to be back, but you don't know. I'd be looking at another centre midfielder as well, just for kind of that deeper midfielder, I'd probably say, because you've got the likes of Moxon and Potts that can push on. Dazelle can push on as well if needed, but he's kind of been playing a bit deeper. But I think you could do with an out-and-out kind of DM as such. You need cover for a right wing or left wing, someone that can do both, and you probably need someone that can play as the 10 as well to help ease the burden off Lang. So how many is that? 5?
Yeah. I'd say that's probably about right. I would say we need because I think Kamara was supposed to be the other Potts, if that makes sense. Like I said, I didn't like the partnership of Moxon and Giselle. I think they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
Kamara's more pick the ball up and sort of look up to make a forward pass, which Potts does incredibly well. I felt like we missed that type of player against Bristol City. But obviously whatever's happening with Kamara just isn't working. So I would bring in someone else who could do Potts' job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to be fair, that's pretty much the same for me, to be honest. I don't think there's anything different there. Like for players like to come in, particular players, I'll leave that up to Richie Hughes and that. Like I haven't got the wide range of football knowledge to be able to like pick up players from any kind of particular league, or don't know who's available. So it's all just guessing, isn't it? Like you don't know who's up, who's on the list and stuff like that. So, but 100%, that for me is the players to come in is pretty, like as in the positions, it's pretty much spot on for me as well.
So would you say you might keep Lane because he can play left wing? Because obviously Severa goes back. We've only got Murphy, haven't we? And for me, I always say Paddy Lane's for me better on the left than he is on the right.
It just depends on what's available. There's no point in moving Lane on if you don't bring anyone in like better. Like, and that's not being like sort of maybe defeatist and thinking, oh yeah, but we can get better. But yeah, I mean, there's always a chance you can, but whether the availability is there is a whole different scenario, isn't it? Like, there's no point in just getting a like for like. If you're going to get someone else in, they just need to be a little bit better because. Like the whole point of the transfer window is to improve, not to just stay where you are. So unless there is a player out there that then is then going to keep Lane out the side anyway, or even at like he might be second or third choice in the sub slot from the bench, then maybe because Lane needs to keep playing because he needs to keep improving. But unless there's better out there and there's better that we can get for definite, then just keep him for now. I would say, personally.
I would say if you're getting rid of Severa, you might as well keep him just because he can play on either side. If Severa stays, because for whatever reason, and we can get a better right wing, then for Lane's sake, I would loan him out.
Yeah, probably, Nice. So, anything else on the agenda? Are we all good?
No, all good.
Been a good another good one. Good chat. But yeah, so let's. You boys got anything else to pop in there? We'll obviously wish all the Pompey fans a lovely, safe journey up to Sunderland. Hopefully, they have something to cheer. It's not been like our last few away games. It's a long way to go, so you want at least then to get something out of the game because it's not cheap, especially this time of year. It's a big old long distance travel, and it's probably pretty cold up there. So, yeah, all the best to the Pompey fans travelling up. We'll be back again next week to to review that Sunderland game, and then we'll obviously be chatting about the Wycombe game on the Friday. But Haz and Russ, cheers for tonight. Enjoyed it. And yeah, up the Blues, play out Pompey.